Everybody, welcome back. We are here talking about Marvel Future Revolution. If you are new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. If you want to check out any content in the future, hammer down the like button, subscribe, notification bell, that sort of thing. What we're going to be talking about today is the game balanced. If not, and you don't think so, we've got the answer for you in this video. There's going to be a link in the description below for a survey if you have not seen it. Netmarble is doing a survey. Please, 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 if you have any opinions, even if you think it's fine, please comment below. Please, comment below and go to the survey and comment. If you think the game's fine, you need to say something, because if everybody who's just complaining and doesn't think it's fine, or it needs changed, and then there's a bunch of other people who are actually just being quiet about it, then it's going to change and they're going to be mad. So we don't want to have a big, huge pendulum swing, right? So anyway, you get a free draw ticket. 20 people get free 1,000 crystals for whoever they think has the best answers, all sorts of things. So we're going to take a look at the survey. I'm going to give some of my thoughts as we go along through this, and we'll kind of go from there and see if we can get these characters improved, because I don't know, it seems like Netmarble's trying, at least saying that they're going to try on this. So let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
All right, so the link, like I mentioned in the description below, it gives you to a patch. First, it brings you to this generic page that talks about the survey. The main thing that it says in this section up here is essentially that, look, it's hard to balance. We're trying. Please be patient. They're working on different characters. That the takeaway really on it is that Doctor Strange and Captain America are next. They understand that Doctor Strange, we felt that the agents felt frustrated after the recent balance, even though it's been before that. And Captain America, who they just felt has been unsatisfactory early on. Now, I will say that high-level Captain Americas do pretty good, but the question is should you have to get that high to feel like an impact? I don't know. I think that's one of the balancing that they need to have, and I think that's one of the biggest debates that I've noticing in all the arguments that debates that I've been having with anybody or listening to about balancing is, someone will use this tier when players here. It's like, we got to see how a character fights within each tier. Like, say there's a tier under 1 million, then there's a tier from 1 million to 1.5, then there's a tier from 1.5 to 1.8, then there's a tier from 1.8 to 2.1, and then from 2.1 up. So the question is how do those characters balance within those tiers and across those tiers, right? Like, if you got a character who's able to punch up from tier 3 all the way to tier 5 easily, they might not be balanced. But maybe they just peak early and they flatten out. Maybe once they get up to that level, they still don't do as much. I don't know. Is that unbalanced? Not. Maybe it's just a character that Netmarble wants to have good early on. That's not necessarily a bad situation, but that also means, I might not dive into that character. Give me the easy character I don't have to spend a bunch of money on. So anyway, that's the debate about this thing. The thing that they talk about here is that the next balance patch they expect to do is mid-March. Okay, so those are the biggest takeaways from that. We're gonna go ahead and take the survey. What's gonna happen here? So this is my first time seeing this, so I have no clue what any of this is. I'm gonna go through it with you guys, share kind of where I'm at with it. And kind of go from there. Please write your server and squad, and some of this I'll speed through, and I will just talk through the parts that feel important. All right, my main hero is Black Widow. Easy enough. Who do you think is the strongest out of the 9 currently playable heroes? Iron Man, without a doubt. I am going there. Based on your answer to question 2, why do you think that hero is the strongest? Now, this is where things get sort of nuts. So the things I'm going to say here, and that I'll speed through, is that he's great in all game modes. DD, maybe not. He's top 3 in DD, but group PvP crushes everybody. PvE does really well, if not the best player. And some of his abilities, I think, are... and I'm still working on something with this, but that guided missiles ability, the fact that it does the damage before the animation, that's ridiculous. If that's a reason for balance, I think they need to adjust something there and give him power somewhere else. You should be able to pre-dodge something silly. So I'm going to say stuff along those lines, but I'm going to go ahead and type my answer in here. All right, so summing this up a little bit, again, I had a bunch of, I talk about guided missiles, pre-dodging, the fact that I think a lot of people are able to auto Iron Man and still be to the top of the charts. I'm okay with like autoing and doing decent, but if you're autoing a character, look, I don't think you should be easily at the top. You got to think about your skills a little bit in my mind. I mean, it can be a little easier, but I just don't like that concept. So that's sort of what I put in for those reasonings. All right, who do you think the weakest out of the 9 characters are? It's either Doctor Strange or Captain America, probably. I'm gonna say Captain America because I partially want to say Magic, but I still think it's too early on. But the reason I'm gonna say Captain America is because the long and short of it's gonna be he doesn't really excel until you get him to like 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, and even then he's only really doing well in Dimension Duels. Any sort of group PvP setting, he just runs around and gets crystals and hard to kill. Like PvE, no, he's not doing anything. So that's where I'm going to land on this one. He's a support character he's hard to kill, which doesn't have any purpose in the game, in my mind. All right, so like I mentioned, I already talked about what I was going to say here a little bit. You can kind of see it on screen too if you really want to read it. But I ended with he's a support character in a game that does not reward support efforts. This is the biggest issue with him. I also mentioned that, running around in a group PvP setting, like, is that fun? Like, I'd do it if I had him, don't get me wrong, and for the win, but sticking on that the support character thing, like, they need to find a way to reward people, supports in this game. But right now they just don't. So we'll see. Have you ever played Doctor Strange as your main hero? Choose one. Not as a main, no. He was never played as my main, so that's fine. Share your thoughts on Doctor Strange skill improvements, man. So I'm going to do a separate video on this, but and a lot of the Doctor Strange folks know a lot about this. So I'll probably copy and paste some of the stuff they've got in there, just from what I've kind of collected from them. But there's clearly a lot of work here. So I'm just going to copy and paste this stuff and save most of this for a different video. All right, so I took a bunch of stuff from the forum that I got going on my Discord, kind of put it in there. Not everything, but a decent amount. So now that goes to Captain America, talking about his main and the same questions. I didn't combine any of this stuff. I actually don't know that much about him. I just know he's not great. So I can't contribute a ton here. I'm going to lean on others on this. I'm just basically going to say he needs to do more damage and be more worthwhile as a non-support character in this game rewards DPS. He needs to do more. All right, what do we got next? If you have any other thoughts would you like to add about Hero Balance, feel free to share them. That's an interesting question. I think high level, I think that, and I'm going to do another video on this as well, but I think that it's okay, but it's not great. I think that in the game, what I'm going to put here is it's a DPS game. You need to reward DPS. If you want us to have a bunch of different characters that we can run in different modes, fine, but give us ways to build them. There's not enough ways to get gear, cards, etc. in the game. It's hard enough to get one character up, right? So I'm going to put some thoughts in there and then summarize them here at the end. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. So I wrote, basically, again, the game rewards DPS, which means any character that does not do damage is going to have issues. Talked about the one exception being Dimension Duel, because that is true. You can just sort of more easily survive and just, fight somebody and pick and choose what you're doing there versus like an Omega War or an Alliance. I mean, I guess you could do it in Omega War, Alliance War, but Alliance War, it's a little tighter ground, so there's not as many places to go. PvE content, not at all. And think about it, Paddle Challenge, Spec Ops, Invasion, those are technically PvE. I know Spec Ops, equalizes everything, but I still don't see a lot of Captain America's doing great in there. Here and there I do, but not a lot. And then I kind of dive into, it'd be really cool if Netmarble actually make public on their website, like the average ranks across all servers and all different game modes. Have some of it be live where we can go look and go, oh, look, on the Midgardia server, the top 10 is consisting of these people. and the average across the entire aspect of the game is that Black Widow is always number 1 in DD, or she's always number 3, or she averages a 4 ranking in Dimension Duel or in Spec Ops or something like that. Storm's always top in this game mode, so that way we can kind of see it. And that way it's like, there's a lot of arguments. Well, if you come to this server, it's like this, or if you play on this, it's different. So you don't get to face these type of players. I'd love to see that information. Maybe it's doesn't want to be shared because it's too telling, but at some point it'd be nice to see. I also talk about gear sets a little bit, and that if some characters need a higher level gear set, that could be a problem versus others, especially if that access is limited. And then I talked about matchmaking. Obviously, that's a big deal with balance as well, because if you're matching a real strong person with a lower person, the game's not balanced, and it can't be balanced because I'm not even fighting the right people with the right power. Since the last patch, that went all sorts of haywire. So that's what I got for the survey. We'll see how this thing sort of shakes out. Are you guys doing it? Please do it. The game does have a lot of potential. I hope it keeps being successful. I recommend, doing that link in the description below. I mentioned the Discord link in the description below as well. Hammer on like buttons, click notification bell, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.